This is a story about love, kindness, and learning to let go. Once upon a time, in a quiet little town, there lived a girl named Amina. She was about 13 years old and had the kind of smile that could light up the room. Amina was full of life. She loved to sing, dance in the rain, and laugh without a reason. She had never seen real pain in her life. Her days were peaceful, her world was small, and her heart was pure. Amina lived with her grandmother, who always told her, "Kindness, my child, is the most beautiful thing in the world, more beautiful than flowers." Amina loved flowers. She had a small notebook where she drew every flower she saw. She said, "One day I will make a garden full of the most beautiful flowers in the world." One morning, Amina woke up early. The sun was just rising, and the sky was full of soft colors, pink, orange, and gold. She took her small bag, a bottle of water, and her drawing notebook, then left for a walk to the nearby hills. The path to the hills was quiet. Birds were singing softly and the wind was cool. As she walked, Amina picked small wildflowers and smiled at butterflies flying around her. Suddenly she saw something different. Between the rocks, standing alone, was a flower she had never seen before. It was glowing gently as if the sun was shining only on it. Its petals were soft purple with golden lines. It was magical. Amina's eyes lit up. "This flower, it's perfect. I must draw it and maybe take it home," she said. She walked slowly toward it, careful not to step on anything. She sat down and drew the flower carefully in her notebook. Then she looked at it again. "I want to keep this one. You'll look beautiful in a vase near my window." She reached out to pluck it, but just as her fingers touched the stem, a soft, calm voice spoke. "Please don't take me." Amina froze. Her hand stopped in the air. She looked around. "Who said that?" "I did," said the flower, gently swaying in the wind. "Amina, a talking flower, is this real?" The flower nodded slowly. "Yes, but only those with a kind and pure heart can hear me." Amina's heart beat fast. She sat back on the grass, shocked and amazed. I didn't know flowers could talk." "We don't talk often," said the flower, "but sometimes we must." Amina stared at the flower. "I didn't want to hurt you. I just thought you'd be happy in my room." "I understand," said the flower kindly. "But if you pluck me, I will live for a few hours. Then I'll wither and die. But here I drink sunlight, feel the wind, and dance in the rain. I bloom every morning, and birds and butterflies come to see me." Amina looked down, feeling sad. "I just wanted to take something beautiful with me." "You still can," said the flower. "Take the memory, take the joy, take the lesson." Amina sat and the wind blew gently, the birds sang again. Then the flower spoke once more. "Sometimes when we love something, we want to keep it close. But true love is not about keeping, it's about caring. If you really love me, let me grow, let me live." Amina felt something change in her heart. She looked at the flower and smiled. "You're right," she said. "Some things are more beautiful when we leave them where they belong." She stood up, brushed off the grass from her dress, and picked up her notebook. "But I'll draw you again," she said, "and I'll tell your story, so other people can learn what I learned today." The flower didn't speak again, but it seemed to shine brighter. As Amina walked back home, she felt different. She didn't pick a single flower on the way. She only looked at them and smiled. A few days later, Amina sat with her grandmother and showed her the drawing. "This flower," she said, "taught me something beautiful. Love doesn't mean holding on. It means letting things be free." Her grandmother smiled with tears in her eyes. "You're growing up," she said softly. Real beauty is not something we hold in our hands, but something we carry in our hearts. True love is not about taking. It's about protecting, respecting, and letting it live. That night, Amina couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, listening to the sounds of the night, the ticking of the old wall clock, the rustle of tree leaves outside, and the gentle creak of the wooden floor under the wind's breath. But in her heart, there was a calm she had never known before. Not because she had discovered something magical, but because she had let something magical be free. The next morning, she returned to the hills, not to pick flowers, not even to draw, just to visit. She walked the same path, her hands gently brushing against the tall grass, her notebook tucked under her arm like a quiet companion. When she reached the place between the rocks, her eyes searched for the glowing petals. And there it was, still blooming, still beautiful. The flower didn't speak this time, but it didn't need to. It swayed gently as if greeting her. Amina sat across from it and whispered, "Thank you for teaching me something even the grown-ups forget." She didn't draw it again. Instead, she closed her eyes and listened to the wind, the distant bird calls, the whisper of the trees. In that moment, the world didn't feel small anymore. It felt endless, and somehow she felt a part of something much bigger than herself. From that day on, Amina changed, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in little things. She spoke to her classmates with more warmth. She helped a crying child at the market find her mother. She left little notes with kind messages on benches and tree trunks, like seeds of kindness waiting to bloom. And every week she returned to the hill, not always to see the flower, but just to remember, to sit in silence, to feel. One day, weeks later, as autumn painted the trees in shades of gold and amber, Amina walked to her usual spot, and the flower was gone. At first, her heart dropped. Had someone picked it? Had it wilted? But then she noticed something. All around that spot, new flowers were growing, not glowing, not magical, just ordinary wildflowers, yellow, white, blue. But in her eyes, they were the most beautiful things she had ever seen. And in that moment, she understood. The magic was never in the flower alone. It was in the lesson it left behind. Years later, Amina, now a young woman, stood in front of a classroom filled with children. On the wall behind her hung a large painting, lavender petals with golden veins. She had become an art teacher. That day, she told her students a story about a magical flower, about kindness, about letting go, about listening to the quiet voice of nature. And as she spoke, the children listened with wide eyes and open hearts. When the class ended, a little girl tugged at Amina's sleeve and asked, "Miss Amina, was that flower real?" Amina smiled, her eyes shining. "It was as real as your heart when it's kind enough to hear what most people miss."